Hello and welcome back to the Atom42 Excel Academy. Today we're going to learn how to create some dynamic graphs really easily and really quickly using some slightly advanced, slightly cool pivot table options. So dynamic graphs are often seem more complicated than they actually are. So I'm going to dive right in and show you, and hopefully show you that doing this quickly and simply isn't as scary as you might think. So the first thing I'm going to do is just insert a pivot table. I'm going to insert this pivot table in the existing sheet, and I'm going to create a simple pivot table of date and visits. What I can now do is I can insert a graph based on this pivot table. So if I insert a basic bar chart, it's quite a lot of data going over a few years. One thing, personally, I don't like these little boxes, so I tend to hide all field buttons on the chart. I prefer to have it in the title or the legend. So now, what I want to do is I want to be able to filter this pivot table based on the date. And you can do that by going to Analyze, and in this filter section of the pivot table options, you can go Insert a Timeline. And the timeline will filter it based on the date. So you check the date, and it inserts this little sexy thing, which, if I change what this slider points to, it will edit and filter what's in the pivot table, which will therefore change what's shown in the graph. So if I click on January, only January will be shown, and only January will be shown there. January 2015, you can see the pivot table is updated and it's only showing me that, and the graph is also updated. I can drag this around, get more days or fewer days. I can even change this to days if I want to go even closer, and just say maybe 1 day or a handful of days, or zoom out and look at whole years at a time. We find this very useful. You can see that we created that very quickly, and it's already very helpful. So filtering on by a date, useful, fairly quick. But what if you wanted to filter, say, by medium, by the way in which the traffic came to the site? If I click back onto the pivot table and go back to Analyze, you notice there's a slicer right next to the timeline that we used previously. I stick in a slicer, and that's going to filter whatever's in the pivot table based on a metric. So I'm going to select medium. If you had different ones, you could select that. And it brings up this little sexy thing, which will filter what's in the pivot table based on what I click on here. So if I just choose CPC, it will just show CPC, so paid traffic there, cost per click traffic there. I could click on organic and see how that's doing. So organic's down a little bit. Email traffic, all very low. We've only sent a couple of emails. Direct traffic coming down a little bit. Paid traffic quite high. Say if I wanted to look at more than one, I could hold down Control and select multiple, or go back to them all. Hopefully you can see that we created that very quickly, very simply. You can even change the colours of your timelines and slicers to suit branding if you wanted to. And these are really simple that clients and friends and colleagues will be able to edit your data themselves. If there's any questions on this, please do give me a shout at excel@atom42.co.uk, but do give this a try and let me know how you get on. Thanks.